consistent by ensuring the logo is in the same place on each slide, your font and the style of bullets, etc., are the same on each slide, the background graphics or colors are the same on each slide, and so on. It also as well will save you time if you decide to make a change, because you only need to change it in one place. So I'm just going to change to a blank presentation, and this is what would appear in PowerPoint when you first open it up. And when you first start a presentation, you get a title slide. And when you want to create a new slide, you use your new slide icon here, and you will get a title and content slide. But if you wanted to, if you click the arrow underneath, you get the choice of 9 layouts for your slide. And what the slide master is, what we're going to do in the slide master is we're going to determine the design of those layouts. So I'm going to go to my View tab, as I mentioned, and then I'm going to click on the Slide Master icon, which I'm pointing at now, and that takes us into Slide Master View, and you can see we've now got a new tab that has appeared. And then you can see on the left-hand side a panel which gives you a thumbnail of all your layouts that you can use in your presentation. Then each layout has this top master layout, and this controls the layout for all the slides underneath, for all the layouts underneath. So anything that you'll want to appear on any slide, you want to put into that top master. So your company logo, for example, would go in here. So I'm going to select that top master, and I'm going to do Insert and Picture, and I'm going to put my company logo in. I'll just make that a little bit smaller, and I'll put that at the top right-hand corner there. And can you then see that that is then replicated with all your layouts as further down? You can also use this to enter in a graphic or a picture. Maybe your graphic designer has sent you a background for your slide presentation, and you can enter that in here. I'll just do an example. I'll put a box in just to give you an idea of how this would work. So I'm going to put a shape in here as my background. I'm going to say no outline on that, and then I'm going to put in a fill color. So I'll do more colors, and let's say I'll use this color here. Okay, that's my background. But I'd need to make sure, obviously, I send it to the back so that my text then comes to the front. Okay, and then obviously I can just make that a little bit bigger if necessary. There you go. And again, you can see how that's then replicated throughout all my layouts. I might want to also change the font for the whole of my presentation, and on my Slide Master tab here, you can see I've got a fonts icon here, and I, for example, could choose Arial, and now the font throughout the whole presentation will be Arial. I might want to format my text boxes. So if I select my text box, sorry, so that's better. I select my text box, and then maybe I might want to make the text white, for example, and I might want to change the text color of my title. I'll have that same green color. I might want to make that just a little bit smaller to center on my logo, and so on. Also as well, if I select my text box, I might want to change my bullets. Let's say, for example, I want to make those square bullets, and you can see now how I'm beginning to design how my presentation is going to look. So as I say, that top master is where you put everything that you want to appear on every slide. And then underneath that, you may want to change each layout slightly. So for example, my title slide needs tidying up a bit, so I might make that a little bit smaller. I want white text again, I might reduce the text size a little bit, and so on. My title and content slides looking okay. My section heading just needs a little bit of work, and so on, and I could go on. I think you get the idea from that. So once you've finished designing your presentation, go back to the Slide Master tab, and you can see you've got the option here to close the Slide Master view. Click on that and you go back to your title slide, and you've now got the look and feel of your presentation ready. So let's just get some text in. So we put a title in, and then I might want to then create a new slide. And when you create a new slide, you get a title and content slide by default. But of course, if I wanted to, I could change that via this layout tab here. So let's just put in a title there, and let's just put some bullets in, something to just use. And so on. Okay, so I'm in on online. I want to put some sub bullets in. If I press the tab key on my keyboard, this is a quick way of indenting your bullet points. So I might want to put in here some additional entries, and so on. Oh, can't spell. There you go. Okay. Right, so I want to now create another slide. I don't want another title and content, which is what I'm going to get by default. So I click on my arrow, and let's say that I want to create a title only slide. And again, because I've set my slide master up, obviously that same design is appearing. So let's just put in some text, and we might want to insert a picture again, and I can make that a little bit smaller. I can center it on the screen. I might put a nice frame around it, and so on. Let's go. Right, so let's say I've entered in my titles, my text, my graphics and so on, and then I decide actually the text of my title here, which you can see is currently size 44, but maybe I might want to make it bigger or smaller, rather than having to change all of my slides. So imagine if I had 50 slides, I don't want to go and change each one individually. The benefit of the Slide Master is I can now go to View, my Slide Master, and if I go back up to my main slide here, I can select that text box, and I can go to Home, and I can reduce that text down, for example, and that now will replicate throughout all my slides. So if I go back to the Slide Master tab, choose Close Master View, and you should now see that that is now size 40, and that also is size 40 because I've replicated throughout my slides. Animations. So I want to just briefly talk about animations. We could, of course, spend all morning talking about these, but I'll just briefly introduce them to you. Animations are really, really good to help you put across your message. This is available via the ribbon. We're on via a tab called Animations, surprisingly enough. And you can animate pictures, text, graphics, and so on. But it also can be used to animate your bullet points. And this is really good to help you to put your point across. It's so that a topic appears only when you are talking about it. It ensures that your audience is focused on your point, and it means that your audience doesn't read on. But it's very important, obviously, you keep your bullet points as simple as possible and expand on each bullet point in what you are saying. Don't display paragraphs of text unless, of course, you want them to read something specifically, but you must give them time to read it for themselves. Leave all you are saying for your notes, for the slide notes and the handouts that you might be providing. So to demonstrate this in our demo presentation that I was working on a minute ago, let's say that I want to animate, sorry, I've just lost my mouse there, apologies. Right, if I want to animate my bullet points here, if I select the text box, and as I mentioned, I go to the animations tab, and then you can see there's lots of animations I can choose. If I click on this more icon that I'm pointing at now, you can see there are tons and tons of animations I can choose, but do be very careful that you don't let your animations take over and take the focus from the message that you are trying to put across. So I'm going to choose the appear animation here, and you will now see that each bullet point is animated in my slide, and I can see that classroom will be first, online second, video third, and so on. Online, Teams and Zoom and Skype will all come in as a group currently, which might be what you require, or what you might prefer is to actually introduce each bullet individually so that you can talk about it individually. So to do that, what we need to do is go to the animation pane here, which I'm pointing at now. I click on that, and that gives us this animation pane on the right hand side, and I'm just going to expand that there. So you can see, again, it displays in what order your graphics, pictures and text are going to be animated, and you can see that online, Teams, Zoom and Skype are going to come in together. So to change that, I can click on the arrow and choose effect options, and I go to text animation, and you can see at the moment it's grouped by first level paragraph, but I choose second level paragraph and OK, and now you can see that online, then Teams, then Zoom, then Skype, and then video will appear, and then I can close that pane down if I wish to. Spell check, spell check, spell check, spell check. I don't think I need to say it too many times. Obviously, we know that any spell checks do make us look unprofessional. So if you wish to do a spell check in PowerPoint, you can go to Review and Spelling, or if you prefer to use a shortcut, you can press F7 and it will run the spell check for you. So once you have designed your presentation, you've got your text, graphics and so on into your presentation, and you are ready to run your presentation, you do that within slideshow. So you run your presentation as a slideshow. Always make sure that you have your presentation ready in slideshow view before you share your screen. Same would be if you were presenting at a physical meeting, where you would have your presentation ready before the meeting started. If for any reason you do forget, a very quick way to run your presentation from the beginning is to press F5. If for any reason you need to stop your presentation and then restart it, and you want to go from the current slide, a quick way to do this is to press Shift and F5. A couple of other shortcuts which I find useful when I'm running a presentation is, first of all, the letter B to black out the screen. This might be useful if someone else asks you a question and you want to take the focus away from the presentation, and you just want the focus on you while the question is discussed at the meeting. So you can press the letter B, which I'm now going to press, and that blacks out your screen, and then you can press the letter B again and it brings it back. Where I use this a lot, and I find it really handy, is when I'm doing a presentation at a meeting, but I'm not on first, and I don't want the first part of the meeting, the focus of that being taken by my presentation. I set myself all up, I start my slideshow, and then I blank out the screen, and then it's all ready to go once the first part of the meeting is done. Another way to do this is to press W to white out the screen. So I'm just going to press W as well, and that does exactly the same thing, and you can use whichever you prefer. If you like to annotate your slides while you're talking, a quick way to turn the pen on and off is to press the Control and P. So you can see on my slide here, my mouse shape is an arrow at the moment, but if I press Control and P, you will see that the mouse is now a pen, and obviously I can draw on my slide, and then I can do Control and P again, and my mouse has now gone back to the arrow shape. If you want a quick way to remove all this annotation, you can press the letter E, and that will then take that all out. And then finally, another shortcut that I use a lot is a quick way to end your slideshow is to press the Escape key. But as normal, don't end the slideshow until you have stopped sharing your screen or until you have turned off the projector. And it's a good idea to have a final sort of thank you type message at the end of your presentation. Another feature of PowerPoint I'd like to introduce you to is Presenter View, which is available while you're running your slideshow. And this is available within the slideshow tab, and you can see here there is an option that you can tick to use Presenter View. And this is a really useful feature so that you can see what is coming next and helps your talk to flow. Now I'm using Presenter View as I'm talking to you now because I've got two screens. And I could, of course, swap the screen I'm sharing to show you, but I thought as we don't have an awful lot of time, I thought the simplest would be just to show you a screenshot. So this is a screenshot of what Presenter View looks like. And this is what will appear on your PC when you're running your slideshow, and the actual slide itself will be on the projector screen. Now, if you're running if you're presenting at an online meeting, this obviously won't appear if you only have the one screen. So if you are presenting, you might like to consider attaching a second screen to your PC when you do the presentation, and you will find it really, really useful. So to explain what we're seeing here, this on the left-hand side is what your audience is seeing. So this is what the slide is being displayed on the projector or on the screen that you've shared. And then on the right-hand side at the top here, this shows you what's coming next. So if you are animating your bullet points or graphics and so on, it shows you exactly what's coming next, and so that you can be in your mind prepared what you're doing, what you're talking, what's going to come next. And once your slide has finished, it will then show you the next slide that's coming. So again, you can be prepared with your talk, you know what's coming next, and it helps it all to flow. And then underneath that is where you can put where your slide notes appear. And this could be a reminder to you of what you're going to talk about. So again, it could just be bullet points to help you remind yourself what you're going to say, or it could be the full speech that you're saying. Now those slide notes, just to show you where that goes, if I go back to my demo slide, demo presentation, and if I go to the View tab, sorry, yeah. Oh. If I go to the View tab, and you can see there's an icon here called Notes. If I click on that, that will then make the view pane at the bottom of your slide available, and then this is where you can put your notes in. That might be your speaker notes or the notes you're going to give in your handouts to your attendees. So just to finish off the sort of PowerPoint side of things, I just thought it would be useful to finish off with a few more tips that might help you. These are, again, things that I've sort of learned over the years or been told by designers and presentation experts. Unfortunately, we've all heard that saying, death by PowerPoint, where we've all been on those type of presentations where everything, including the kitchen sink, has been thrown on the slide, and you don't focus on the speaker, and you're lost by the slide and you give up. So it's a good idea to talk to someone who is an expert in presentations if you don't think your message is getting across. And of course, I'm not saying that my presentations are perfect, but I always try to follow these as best I can. So very importantly, you must remember that your presentation, your slideshow, is there to support your presentation and not to take over and detract from your message. Try to avoid complex backgrounds so that your audience can focus on your point. Photos and so on are okay for a title slide, but not for a slide with bullet points, for example. Position the logo at the top right hand corner of your slide so that left to right scanning means that the title is read first. And keep those titles clear and simple. And bear in mind the 4-second rule. Can you see the message of the slide in one glance? And diagrams and infographics are really good at getting the message across at a glance. So I hope that those will be useful to you. And just to finish off, I would just like to just reiterate the services.
Your video's frozen, Susan. Don't know if you can hear me. Is it frozen for everybody else, or is it just frozen for me?
Where's Debbie gone?
You're on mute, Debbie.
Did it freeze for everybody else or just for me?
It came up that Linda was the host, was the new host now on my screen.
Really? Just cut me out and that was it. It was gone.